Hello and welcome to the Simply Pretty studio. Hello 2025. It's lovely to be back. A chilly one here in Gloucestershire this morning, so I'm all cozied up with my knitwear on today. But we have got a bit of sun, which is good. But it's going to be pretty cold this evening, so yeah, trying to stay warm. Hope you are warm and safe wherever you are. Just going to check that I'm where I should be. Hopefully some of you will be joining us this morning. It's been a long while since I've been on here live, and before Christmas there was just so much happening, and on the last day that I was supposed to go live, I'd scheduled in a meet-up with some girls from my team, so we had a lovely day out, which was fantastic. It was nice just to spend time together, and that is one of the things that I really love about what I do. I love being creative and I love sharing that with you, but also the people that I have met through Stampin Up, the friendships that I have, they outweigh everything. You know, friendships are very precious. So we had a great time anyway, some of us in my team. Okay, so we have got lots going on in the world of Stampin' Up today. We have got a new mini catalogue launching. We have got our Sale-a-Bration promotion launching. We have got new online exclusives. We have got new kits, 3 new kits, because we had 2 last month, but only 1 actually released. And what else have we got? There's something else. Oh, scrapbooking brochure, really important. So if you are local, I know I've emailed out links to the catalogue, but if you are local and you don't want to do that online order, please shout out to me, because I'll be placing an order later. I really want to get some of the new scrapbooking products, some of the new colours of the core cardstock I need to get. So, right, without further ado, don't think anybody's on here at the moment. This is my regular slot. I do try and stick with the 1st and 3rd Tuesday each month to go live. Although I am thinking about maybe making one of those an evening one, maybe the 3rd Tuesday, turning that into an evening slot so that those are in the US can sort of catch up live. So anyway, let us turn you around and set you down on my desk. So bear with the palm of my hands. Squidge everything around. Make some room and wait for this to catch up. See how fast Facebook is at catching up today. Right, I think we're about there. Let's just zoom in a bit, because that will just change everything. So you can see here I've got my Sale-a-Bration brochure and my mini catalogue. Gosh, the catch up is slow. I think we'll just go that way a bit and tape it. I've got to try not to be so fussy with everything. My mission is to have more structure in my life and my business, and try not to be so particular about everything. So, Sale-a-Bration. So, of course, we are on a 2-month Sale-a-Bration. We used to have 3 months, but the last couple of years we've reduced it just to 2 months, which is way long enough for you to earn yourself products in here. I've got some products I can show you. But we've got some really great products here. I will mention that the threshold to earn new products has jumped up slightly to £55. So when you order anything from any catalogue, from the online store, from the kits collection, from the scrapbooking brochure, if your order reaches £55, then you can choose a gift for free, or if you spend £110, there are some options for that as well. So we've got this lovely kit, we've got some papers. You've probably seen things flying around, literally, with the seagulls, where people have been. I was very tempted with these but they were not top of my list. We've got an embossing folder here, lots of choices, another stamp set, the papers here, the toadstool garden papers. I've got those, so I can flick through those with you in a minute. You do have to look carefully because things are kind of hidden. We've got this lovely fresh freesia ribbon. Oh, Jason's messaging me. Then we have the Pick a Season stamp set, which I've also got as well. Might be able to show you something I've created with that. Another stamp set here. And some sequins. There are so many things to choose. These are all with the £55. But then we flick over to when you spend £110, which is quite a lot of money, I know, but I know some of you save your purchases for Sale-a-Bration, for things that maybe you haven't bought during the festive season. So we've got the heart-shaped bundle. I have got this one. It is adorable. And we also have the Corner in Bloom. Good morning, Lucianne. How are you doing? I will get your way at some point. How long has it been? I get so far towards your direction and then I'm usually out of time. I've either got to get back for the dog or just ran out of time and it's not happened. So, right, the other important thing to mention here is we have a Sale-a-Bration join offer. So I have got the stamp set and I am using this morning. I was really torn with what to use for my live, but I've decided to use this one because as a demonstrator I was able to purchase this on a pre-order. It's not for sale, you cannot buy it, but you can receive it in your starter kit when you join during Sale-a-Bration. Good evening, Shaz, how are you doing? Happy New Year to you. I've already said Happy New Year to Lucianne. I spoke to her previously. So how are you doing? Did you have a great trip? You're not still away, are you? So yes, this is available as a gift. So basically our starter kit is, as always, £99. And you get £130 of products. But we've got two options for you. So the first option, on top of that £130 of product for £99, you can receive the Handmade Designs stamp set and 2 packs of our marker pens. Now these aren't the Stampin' Blends, that are standard Stampin' Right markers, but you could choose any 2 families, or you could decide not to have either of those and just choose an extra £30 of product. I know what I would do for sure, but you may already have some of the marker pens, or you may not particularly love this stamp set. So that I love that they've put that option in there that you can just choose an extra £30 of product. So basically you'd be getting £160 of product for just £99. So that is all about our join offer. I don't talk about the join offer very often. And I don't know why, because I absolutely love what I do. Hello, Renee. How are you doing? Happy New Year to you. So we've also got our mini catalogue. I'm not going to run through all of this. If you are local or not local, if you don't already have a demonstrator and you would like a copy of the mini catalogue, you've maybe seen some things online, or you're on my email list, because I'm not sending out catalogues to every person on my email list. Postage just doesn't justify that right now. You are still away, Shaz. I thought you were. Yes, I hope you're having a fabulous time. I bet you're itching to get back to your craft room. I know I would be after that amount of time. But we've got some beautiful products in here. Let's have a look. This suite here, the Wildflower Birthday. I was just so drawn to this straight away, and I did order. I pre-ordered the stamp set. And the matching dies are adorable, and they're going to be great for scrapbooking because we've got this lovely banner here, but we've got these numbers which are also good for card making, for New Year cards, for all sorts of occasions, for anniversaries. But we've got the lovely tassels and the flowers. I might be able to find a card that I've done with this. I've got lots of projects hidden away, ready for classes. So that's the birthday celebration. The papers that go with this, let me find them. They are adorable. So they're not just your average papers. Let's pull them out. It's my bag of scrappy bits there. Can you see what I'm doing? You can see I've already been chopping up them. So we have got, let's grab, I've got a new pack here so we can see what colours there are. So we've got Blueberry Bushel, which is a blue, Old Olive, Peach Pie, Pool Party, Pretty in Pink, Soft Sea Foam, and gold. We've got some gold embossed. And look at that. Absolutely adorable. It's almost a shame to cut into one side, but you know I love a stripe. But you could fussy cut these out. So they are definitely my cup of tea. Look at these. So this is a speciality pack. So they are just adorable. So we've got our standard sheets of cardstock. We've also got this sheet here, which is a cutout one. So we've got like frames here and these kind of like pockets. Of course, we've got something on the reverse. And let's just show you the other sheets before we move on to the die cut pieces. Shown you those. We've got this lovely one here with the gold scallop and the very soft soft sea foam leaves there. And then we've also got these beautiful cutouts, which are great for card making, but scrapbooking as well. I always like to keep the reference in there for which colours are in here. But you can see some of them have come out, and it's hard to show you the whole sheet. But we've got these like beautiful laser cut pieces that you could pop straight onto cards, or in fact, we've got two sheets and they're all wanting to fall out. Have we got two sheets in here? Yeah, we have got two sheets. It's pretty amazing. So they are absolutely beautiful, and they all just push out. They're laser cut. They'd be great for scrapbooking, great for card making. And we also have in the new scrapbooking brochure, let's try and get this back, slide this on here without losing everything. We also have a kit and some extra stamps that go with this set as well. So super exciting. That is going on my order today. I wasn't able to pre-order from the scrapbooking brochure, so that's why my order is going through today. So that's the Wildflower Beauty Suite. Now, a couple of things that are on my radar, which could be going in my basket today. I need to be a little bit restricted with myself because I did find at Christmas I had a few things that I just ran out of time to use, and we don't need loads and loads of product. It's just nice to have new stuff now and then. This is adorable. I really love that. I also love the Darling Dinos. You've got dies that go with that as well. Look how cute they are. And what else have I put a marker on? I really like this one, the Hugs for Love. And it does look a bit kind of like lovey-dovey when you first look at it. You know, I know not everyone sends Valentine's cards, but I think there's other uses, you know, sending you a big hug, lots of hugs and kisses. You make me smile. I would send those every day. And I love how they've used the stamps here to make the background on this card as well. So, and always valuable to have a punch. And there is also another stamp set that coordinates with that punch. So that is definitely on my radar. But there are so many other gorgeous products in there for you to view. What else have I got that I can show you? So we've got the Sale-a-Bration. Just running through my basket. Papers here. So this is the Pick a Season stamp set, which I've got a partially stamped tree here. So can you see you add, and I've got one where I've added colour in as well. So you do the trunk first, then add in your greenery, and then you can add in like flowers or hearts for Valentine or Easter eggs. So I think that's a really great idea. So this is a Sale-a-Bration one. You can earn this one free. And then the papers. This is called Toadstool Gardens. This is a Sale-a-Bration set. You get a lot of each sheet. I think 8. 8, yeah, and there's 48 sheets in a pack. So you've got 6 designs that are all double-sided. But you could fussy cut elements out of these or just use them as a background. So we've got, let's check the colours in these. Quite like that one. I'm not a huge fan of colour, you know that. Melon Mambo is like quite scary for me, but in small doses. So we've got Early Espresso, Fresh Freesia, Granny Apple Green, which is also pretty bright for me, but I would like just tone it down with something else. Melon Mambo, Poppy Parade and Pumpkin Pie. So all quite bright. We've got these ombre mushrooms, but this one on the reverse I much prefer. It's very neutral, isn't it? It's very, very me. Love that. I do love this one. I love a spot, and it's just like random dots. Makes your eyes go a little bit funny. But then we've got a really handy stripe on the other side. This one is very sweet as well. Little mushrooms with ladybirds on. Then we've got a lovely Fresh Freesia background on that one. And then also on here, got some flowers and snails and shrooms, and then that really bright, I'd say that's Melon Mambo background. So they're quite bright on those sides, but these sides are more the colours, more the side that I will use, more of the like general patterns rather than sort of picture images. So that is a lovely set. As I said, that's a Sale-a-Bration one. Then I've also got, I've nearly done, this is the last one, and then we'll get making my card, because I don't want to be on here all day today. I've got a lot of work to catch up with, and I'm really trying to be structured about the amount of time I spend here in my studio procrastinating. I've just got very good at that of late, so I really need to just get more focused. So this is the heart-shaped bundle, and this is a free bundle when you spend £110. It is adorable. Excuse me, I've got a frog in my throat. I love this stamp here. Of course, we've got the die that also cuts that out. I love this flower and the foliage. So absolutely adoring this. I love the style of the fonts, and I love a lined sentiment as well. I don't know what it is about a long lined sentiment, but I always find, doesn't matter what I'm doing, there's room to fit that in. Whereas when you've got something slightly larger, it's always a little trickier to find where it's going to go, or you have to probably think about it a little more. Whereas with just a long sentiment like this, you can just grab a scrap of skinny cardstock, stamp on it, and kind of like plonk it down without having to think about whether you're cutting it or fussy cutting it. Right, back to this. Let's get back to the task in hand. Now I'm going to do a man card for you today, and all I've got is one card for you today, but I do plan to try and pop up with lives more in my community stamping group. So if you are not part of that, please do head over there. I will pop a link. I'll put the link in the YouTube. I'm going to write a note now because I say these things and then I forget. So I'm just going to write that on a post-it note, link, and then I'll put it in the community, in the bottom of the YouTube info. If you click more underneath the video, where I put in all like my links, you will see there a link to join my community group. So I haven't yet popped in the challenge for this month. So I do a monthly challenge and I have a giveaway. I randomly pick a winner and I give something away at some kind of product. So it's definitely worth being a part of. It's a lovely group. We don't chat all the time, so you're not going to be bowled into something where you feel that you have to talk. You can be just like in the sidelines, but it is nice. It's a nice place where people do get to know each other, and it's growing. It's a new group, so it is growing too. Right, Handmade Designs. This is a cling stamp set. So that means we've got the red rubber. We've got 5 images in here, and I haven't used this one yet, but today I'm going to be using the plaid because I thought that was very masculine and would just fit in with what I need to do, because I need to send out a card. And I'm finding it hard to get back into the swing of routine. And I know some people don't really like routine. Do any of you like your routine? But I just felt over the festive period, it was such a long break that I wasn't bored, but it almost didn't feel right to not be working or to not have that structure, and I really have missed that. So I am looking forward to really getting back into the swing of just some regular things that I generally do. So, but I know some people don't kind of like the word routine. I think routine is kind of good, but I think structure and routine is a good combination. Right, because I wanted a man card, I thought basic grey is a great colour to start with. We do have other neutrals, but I didn't want to be too dark. And I could have used basic beige, but I just think grey granite is much more of a masculine base colour for what I wanted. So we've got our base, which measures 5 3/4 by 8 1/4, and I'm just scoring that, creasing it down the middle, and that will be the base of our card. Now I've cut another layer here which measures 3 5/8 by 5 1/4, and I'm going to run it through an embossing folder. Now, after shifting stuff from my shelves when we had the last chance list for the mini catalogue, I realised that I am getting really low on embossing folders, and I say low, I've probably got about 10, but I need some new ones. And I don't know about you, but I really love a new embossing folder. They just create a real wow to your projects in a simple kind of way. So I've pulled out the timber, and I didn't double check, but I'm pretty sure this is still current. I should check that. Let's have a quick look, see if I can find it. Oh, my cover's fallen off my... Does your catalogue get a bit battered? Right, where am I going to find it? Embossing. I'm probably never going to find it now. I am looking at the list in the back of the book. Right, I've got them. So you can see by my ticks, I have a few. Yeah, we are still in there, timber. So we're good to go. But quite frankly, it wouldn't matter. Any embossing folder is going to add a lovely wow to your project. So I'm just going to run that through quickly. I also find this one to be great for masculine cards. To be honest, I use it all round. We do have the birch wood as well, which, let's just grab that one out, which I've been using a lot. I really do like that one, and I find this one kind of more general because it's got such a big wood grain on it. But I love this one equally as much. Great for masculine projects. So that's the layer for our card. Now we need to do a little bit of stamping before we go any further. And we don't need a mat because this is a cling stamp set. So I've just mounted that one on. It's a bit crooked, but it doesn't really matter. I'm going to grab a scrap. And I'm just using Memento black Memento ink. So we're going to ink it up, make sure you can see. So what have we all been up to in this in between Christmas and New Year? What have you all been up to? Have you been doing fun things? I'm going to stamp a couple more of these because I think when I'm done with the live, I'm going to create a couple more cards in different colours. And these can sit and dry because I'm going to be using my Stampin' Blends to colour this in. So I've pulled in light and dark old olive. I've got some odd lids going. Let's put them on. My OCD won't let me look at them with lids around the wrong way. So we've got old olive, we've got a soft sea foam. This one is SU 500, and then we also have a grey granite in dark, but I'm not using that. Oh, I am using that, but not to colour with. So those are my colours of choice, and the only ink pad I'm using is my grey granite and my tuxedo black Memento. So let's chop one of those off, and we're going to let it sit just for a minute to dry out, and just to let that Memento ink absorb into the white cardstock before I start colouring. Otherwise, I always find, even though this ink is designed to be used with the blends, I do sometimes find with an image like this, where you need to colour over those veins, that you will maybe get a little bit of bleed on it. So the next thing I want, I've got a scrap of white cardstock here, and I need to grab out the new die set I showed you earlier, which has gone to the back of my folder. And we're going to use this lovely like banner die. I'm excited to create more with this one. The catalogue's got some really good inspiration for using these banners. So we're literally going to cut it out on here. And can you see we've got that the cut edge here, but then we've got that lovely dot finish, which I just adore. Let's just run this one through. You could always use the negative as well. If you lined that in, you know, you could pop that on a card if it was straight and do something with it. But I have to learn to try and be a bit more relaxed about the scrap pieces that I keep, because my studio is getting very full of bits, as I'm sure yours is as well. We're crafters, aren't we? So we like to, looking for a bit of scrap, we like to hoard things, don't we? Because we think there's always a use for something. Right, what I want to do on this little banner is take my grey granite, and I'm going to use the brush tip, which I generally don't use very often. I've just pulled out a little scrap here, and I'm just going to tap really hard on the end of here, just to add some very kind of subtle splat. I'm very much lacking a splat stamp at the minute. Can you see that? It's just very subtle. It just gives it a little background without it being too plain. Yeah, I'm definitely lacking in the splat department at the moment. Some of my favourite ones have come from stamp sets that have retired, and I need a current splat. That's what I need. So I'm hanging on to this bit of paper because I want to show you that in a minute. Let's do a bit of colouring, and I hope that before I do that, actually, I will stamp something else. It should be well dry now for us to colour in. I just need to stamp. Grabbing a little scrap, that one might be big enough. I've mounted the thank you so very much. Love these two fonts together as well. And I'm going to ink them in the grey granite just so it's not so harsh using the Memento black. So we're just going to ink that up. Stamp it down. Let that sit for a minute and then we can cut that one out in a moment. I'll take a seat and do a little bit of colouring. Now, what colours have I used? I used light sea foam and then just a bit of light old olive, I think. I don't think I used the dark actually. Just because, you know me, I don't like adding too much colour to anything. So we'll start by just colouring in the leaves. I want to try not to apply too much pressure to the centre where all the ink is. So I'm literally just adding colour. I think this one is on its way out as well. I do have another new one. I think it's a light one. Oh yeah, it's very much on its way out. Try not to colour in those lines. Let's grab the new one. I've already thrown one out. The thing is, they start to fade, and then when you put them away for a little bit and pull them back out, then they sort of work a bit. So you don't want to throw them away. That's better. Can you see that's much more of an intense colour? So let's just go over those. We're going to go in through the centres as well and add a bit of depth. There we go. Just added a bit of colour. Right, and then I'm going to take the light old olive. I think I might have used the dark, but we'll go with the light and see how it shows up. And I'm literally just going to go down like the centre of the vein. And I did think about using Mossy Meadow because I quite like Mossy Meadow and Mossy Meadow and Seafoam together. But because I'm using a little bit of pattern paper that had old olive in, I thought, oh, I'd use that instead. And then we're just going to take, I'm going to take actually my old light one, because it won't be as intense, and just like smooch those two colours together. So you can see there's nothing technical happening here this morning. This is just a very sweet, simple, basic card for you. And I'm just kind of like blending that centre bit into the rest of the leaf that I previously coloured. Now I need to put that to one side because that one is the one that's running out. So we've just got some like centre veins going on here. And then the SU500, I pulled that out because it's kind of similar to pecan pie. And I'm just going to colour in, go straight over the top of the black and fill in the white pieces on this planter so that we've just got that bit of colour going on in the base. And then we can take our snips and just cut around here. And now I'm doing this each time I go to cut something out intricately, I remember that I need to make an eye appointment. Gosh, how long have I been saying that? But yeah, definitely need to get to Specsavers. So I'm just going around, not going all the way down into the centre because this is going to go on a white background, so I don't need to cut out this central part here. So, but I find it easier to leave a small kind of edge of white around my stamped image. I find it easier to cut that way. Just trim around. Go up in that little cranny. Can get a bit hard to see where the edge is. Just keep turning it. And then when you get down to delicate bits like this, just be very careful not to snip too closely. Otherwise you'll lose something. Okay. So we've got a little, oh, it's a bit dodgy down there. Let's just do that bit a bit closer. It's hard cutting when you've got white background behind you. There we go. And I'm just going to take my bone folder and give it a good curl. To me, this makes all the difference. Giving your stamped image life. I know, as I say, it does get a bit squashed when it goes in the post, but it's about how it looks when it leaves as well. So, right, next we're just going to trim around. If you are not a fan of fussy cutting, there are ways around it. You could stamp this sentiment just onto a scrap, and then maybe you've got a punch that will fit, or you've got a die that it will fit. Would look equally as nice. And I'm not, you know, being too careful, just sort of following the shape. But it just depends. Yeah, I know some of you are not huge fans of fussy cutting, so you could easily, I'm sure, find a die or a punch that you could just ink that down onto and then cut it out easily. Right, we are almost done. First thing we're going to do, so we've got this piece that measures 3 5/8 by 5 1/4. We've got another piece here which is the pecan pie, which measures 3 3/8 by 1 7/8. And it's 1 7/8 because it came out of my scrap envelope. My Tombow is almost out. I've got another one waiting in the wings. I'm going to pop that one down first. About 3/4 of an inch from the bottom. So we're looking at three of my squares on my grid paper. It just helps to keep things a little straight if you're following lines. And then this paper here is from a pack. Let's grab it out. It is a special release pack. It's called the Serene Love, and they've brought it out. They brought these 3 packets out, and they've just kind of like refreshed the colours. So they've used all the designs. Let's move that away a minute. They've just used the same designs of these paper and literally switched out the colours. But I was automatically drawn to this one. We've got Old Olive and Lost Lagoon, and I think it's Night of Navy. But how lovely are these prints? And I just thought, like, these sheets here are really great for sort of masculine cards as well. And I know we all struggle making our man projects. Got a nice spotty one here, and then this is the stripy one. So I just think they're very, very usable. So they are available still. They were released last month, but they will just stay around until they run out of stock, basically. So but that's the one I've used there. You can see the code. So you get the 12 sheets as standard. Let's put that back over there. For $11.75, you get 2 of each design. Right, so I've got a little strip of that Old Olive stripy one, which I do love a stripe, and we're just going to stick that down at the bottom of this pecan pie panel. I've got glue and all over my fingers already. Don't know how, I've hardly done any sticking. And I've cut this just a little bit wider, excuse me, than the grey granite layer here. Just make sure that's straight, because I just wanted it to overhang on the ends. And then to that we're going to add our little banner that we cut out, and this one's just going down flat. I told you it was running low. It's starting to give up on me. And then we're just going to have this one over on the right hand side, just sort of touching down onto that DSP. Make sure it is straight. Hold it for a minute. When you've got an embossed layer, the glue tends to take a little longer to stick. And then because I wanted to put the grey on the grey, I did think about a white layer beneath, and I didn't like it. I don't know why, although I don't mind it now. But I wanted to keep it grey on grey. I want to keep it quite masculine. So I'm going to raise this layer up. So it's going to pop away from the base card. We're on a new sheet of dimensionals again, which is always tricky to get started. Oops, that one's not flat. So we'll just balance them out so we don't get any saggy areas. Take the backs off. And then it just kind of pops up. Now, the other thing you could do so that this stands out from the base is maybe ink around the edges. Or like I said, you could put a different layer beneath. Could have chosen a darker layer. Could have gone with old olive. But I wanted it to stay sort of quite muted. But it does make it pop out that little bit more because we've got that shadow around the edge. And then simply all we're going to do is pop some dimensionals behind our little flowers. Well, they're not flowers, it's foliage, isn't it? My house is full of foliage. I love it. I did find it the weekend actually. I bought myself some, have you seen them? They're gloves for cleaning your plants, and basically it's like a standard pair of gloves, but they're like super fluffy. They're not microfiber, which surprises me, but you probably can get microfiber ones. And then you put them on and then you just like pull, if you've got tall big plants like I've got, you just pull your hands, put your plant in between your hands and kind of like pull away, and then it just helps to remove the dust. Because it's surprising how that dust appears. And if you live like I do with a log fire, we've got a wood burner, but the dust that it gives off it's horrific. And although we've not lit our big log burner for a couple of years now, we haven't had to. We have the little one going down in the snug a lot during the winter months. But the dust down in the kitchen and everywhere, it is horrific. It does give me anxiety, especially on mornings like today when the sun is streaming in through the windows. All you can see is dust. But, you know, it's not something I would love to just get rid of it there and then, but it's back as soon as you get rid of it. So I just have to sort of be a bit calm about it and just try not to dust every day, which I don't, because it would just be pointless. I'm going to pop my greeting in there, and I am calling that one done. It's very simple. There's no rocket science behind it, but you could really enhance this card. We could have embossed with this. We could have added gold into it because we've got the pecan pie. I always want to call it copper clay. I'm going to grab you copper clay so that you can see it's definitely more clay colour. But whenever I look at it, I'm like, no, your pecan pie. So, which copper clay is another great masculine colour as well. So I didn't want to add any bows or anything on there. Morning, Deb. How are you doing, my lovely? I hope you're doing okay, sweetness. And resting up. And that you're all snuggled in front of that fire. With little sweet Tilly on your lap, more than likely. So you'll have to catch up on the replay because we are almost at the end. But I will get that straight up. That will come up. So the other thing I was thinking, I'm not going to do another card, but I grabbed some other pieces and just thought, how would this card look if we switched out some colours? So I just cut myself some layers and thought we could, how would it look if we recreated? Got lots of bits and pieces here that I've cut. Okay, so I did decide we could do the same and throw in some fresh freesia, which would equally look nice, I think. Let's just imagine that is on here. We could add in, from our lovely heart-shaped set, some flowers and turn it into more of a feminine card. We could take out that dark layer and switch it for a white one. We could switch out that DSP for something really hot and bright in here. That strip we could swap there and pop in. So there are ways. You have to look at my designs. If you look, you know, we've all got different tastes, haven't we? But there are so many ways. Just from this one card, this could just be your pivot to get you going, to get that mojo shifted out of the window. Even if you take my sketch, you don't use my colours, but you just use my layout. So the base, a layer on the top, a panel across, third of the way up, some kind of die cut piece. It could be, I've got one in my bin here, which is covered in bits and splat now, but it could be a circle die with a stamped image and then a strip. So from this, you could easily then sit down and have a starting point of where to move forward, because I always find that hard, and that's something I like to do in my challenge for my community group is a sketch challenge, because I just think it gives you that kind of pivot to get you going. That would probably be too much fresh freesia for my liking, but we could always switch that out for pattern paper. So I've got these pieces ready because I thought I will have a little play afterwards and see what I could come up with. But my mission for today was to create something masculine and to share this stamp set with you, which, as I mentioned, is completely free when you become part of the community and be a demonstrator. So don't think that if you join to be a demonstrator, you have to do what I'm doing today. You honestly don't. It's just such a fabulous thing to be a part of. I've been a demonstrator for 15 years, and I've chosen to run it as a business, but you really don't have to. You can simply just enjoy the benefits and enjoy the great company and the community that comes alongside it. Right, I think I've shown you everything for now. My order is going through later, so if you are local and you don't want to do that $6.95 shipping, then please shout at me and text me or email me over your order and I will add it onto mine. So I can, if you're local, I can deliver it, or I can post it at cost, which is always works out cheaper than the $6.95. So, and I now have 2 masculine cards, so I feel like a little class or something coming on with this one because I'm itching to colour this one in. I'm feeling fresh freesia. So, and of course we've got this lovely stamp here. Shall we try that one out before I go? Let's put it on the back. No, I'm not going to put it on the back because it's flowery. Let's grab a book. I just want to see what it looks like. Inked up. Right, I've got a little scrap here because this is brand new. Quite often get like a residue on a brand new stamp. So I just want to stamp it a couple of times and make sure there isn't anything, any kind of, I don't know, chemical or anything on there that will interrupt how my image is going to stamp. So, whoops. Let's just stamp that one down. I think this black needs a bit of re-inking. How sweet is that on the back of your cards? The cutest. What you could do is also, if you cut a slightly wider strip, cover that over and stick a greeting over the top of that. So you don't just have to think, oh, I can only use that if I want to write on it to say that I made it. There are other ways of using it as well. So, right, I'm going to love you and leave you. What is the time? Oh, it's nearly 11 o'clock, sis. So that means nice Powerball and a cup of coffee for me. So I hope you are all doing well. Thank you for those who've stopped by to say hello this morning. And I will be back with you all very, very soon. So take care and I will see you soon. Bye.